All right, starting a content agency in 2025 is by far the most profitable, most sustainable, and most importantly, most scalable business that you can start. It also allows you to work remotely and hire everybody to do all the work for you. Arguably, this is a 3 out of 10 difficulty business, so it's a lot easier to make money in this than a lot of other businesses out there. You won't need to do paid advertising, you won't have to do any horrible or embarrassing cold outreach methods, and best of all, this video is free. I'm gonna run you through exactly how you can start a content agency in 2025 and quite literally sign 2 or 3 clients to be making $10,000 plus every single month. A little bit of context. My name is Andrew and I started my content agency less than 2 years ago. And within 4 months, I scaled it to $20,000 a month. This year alone in 2025, we're gonna do well over $1 million in revenue, maintaining give or take about 60 to 70% profit margins, and I don't have to be the one to do any of the work. Now, had I had the information when I first started my content agency that I'll share with you today, I would have probably scaled significantly faster and avoided all of the pain points that I'm gonna address in today's video. Now, in this video, I'm going to be sharing the most critical and important things that you need to know when starting a content agency, all the way from starting with the bare bone basics and just getting the ball rolling. I'll also be teaching you how to build a powerful offer that your clients are going to drool over, and additionally showing you how you can sign high-paying clients with ease. No need for all this boring cold outreach or embarrassing yourself doing things that you don't really know you should do. There's actually a really easy method and I'm going to share it with you. I'm also going to show you how you can hire the right talent and start actually removing yourself from the business itself, meaning it's going to run even if you're there or not. And arguably the most important one, how to scale and remove yourself from the entire process so this business cash flows each and every single month. It doesn't matter if you're on a trip for 2 weeks. It doesn't matter if you want to just do nothing. This business will still run whether you're in it or you're not. The best part is you're still making money. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with the bare bone basics here. Now, before I jump into things, this video is entirely free, and 99.9% of the other gurus sharing this type of information are going to be pissed that I'm sharing this with you today. So all that I ask is that you go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Not only does it help me a lot by subscribing, but it shows me that videos like this are highly in demand from you guys, and I would love to be able to do more of these and go even more in depth in certain topics. All right, so starting off with the bare bone basics, I just want to bust a few myths here right off the bat. First things first, your name, your branding, your logo, it doesn't matter. What speaks volumes about your content agency is your results, and I'll show you how to get really good results later, but people don't care about your name. I mean, my agency, Shark Media, literally just came because I have been known on the internet as quote unquote Shark, and so I figured Shark Media was a good name to call it, and that's what my agency is called. When you're thinking of your name or your branding and your logo, don't get hung up on this idea that it has to be perfect. You can even just use your initials, so it's AS Media. Actually, maybe not that because it kind of sounds a little bit off, but you get the point. Don't overcomplicate it. The quality of the product is what matters, not your name. Now, at the bare basics, you're going to want to consider a few things and maybe get some things done. Most things are optional, but I'll share with you what's a necessity and what's actually something you can pick and choose if you want to do it or not. All right, so necessities, the things that you're actually going to need to start your content agency. Number one, you need to open an Instagram account. 100% open a business Instagram account, and it'll all make sense in just about 2 minutes or so. Obviously, get a simple logo done. You can use the website Canva. It's completely free, and you can just AI your own logo. It's a good temporary fix if you don't want to pay somebody to design it for you, and realistically, it does a really good job. And same thing with your name. Don't overcomplicate your name. It's the same reason when I did my agency series, starting brand new from scratch and scaled it to $10,000, my agency name was RAM. It was an abbreviation for Really Awful Media, trying to prove a point that the name really doesn't matter. Now you have your logo, you'll have your name. You're gonna wanna go ahead and purchase a domain from namecheap.com. Now realistically, a domain shouldn't be any more than $20 a year, so it's a really easy budget to just buy that domain. Whether you decide to actually build a website or not, it's still good to just own the rights to your domain. You don't want somebody buying your domain and doing something malicious with it or just not having control of your name itself. Spend the money on the domain. Now, this next one is optional, but it's highly recommended. So you already have an Instagram account where you can share videos you've done for other clients and just kind of post about what's going on inside of your business. But one thing I've found is having a website is really powerful. Now, it doesn't have to be a super complex website. In fact, you can probably make it in less than 30 minutes using Shopify. Now, the best way to use Shopify is to just build a landing page, meaning you only need one site that everybody lands on. And it just gets them to know exactly what it is that you're doing. Now, here's the thing, 9 times out of 10, people aren't actually gonna find your work or your services from your website, but clients that you're looking to sign will look you up and will potentially search for your website. So it's always good to have that just as a level of credibility. Now, for your website, you want it to be super simple. Right on the header of the page, it's always best to have a quote, something you stand by. And mine is, we build massive YouTube channels. That's it. Below your header, you can add content that you've done just as reference work. And don't worry if you have no content yet, you can always add this later. This is just something to consider. Last but not least, on your website, you're going to want to have a call to action. And Shopify, thankfully, because it's so easy to build sites there, you can literally drag and drop an email box in there and people can just email you directly with a subject line and ask you questions, and you can plan a meeting with them if they want to. Now, the bare bone basics are done. That was super quick, less than 5 minutes. And now we have our bare bone basics of our content agency done. That's the boring stuff. Now the fun stuff comes into play. And this is step number 2, which is going to be building an offer that your clients are quite literally going to drool over and is going to make you a lot of money. I say this because this is exactly what I did. And now I want you to get extremely creative here. And my piece of advice for this is I want you to become extremely emotionally attached to the success of your clients because of your product. Now, that might not make sense just yet, but it will very shortly, and I'll kind of dive into why. Now, there is not one true testament of the perfect offer. An offer is supposed to be creative, and it comes down to what it is that you're looking to achieve. For example, my primary offer is YouTube content. So we do YouTube videos for our clients that help bring in organic leads. They monetize their videos so they make money on YouTube. They grow a brand and a following, and the whole shebang that comes around with the YouTube channel. Now, the reason I chose YouTube is out of all the social media platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube Shorts, Facebook, YouTube, I'm betting, is the best and strongest platform to build a brand on. Now, this doesn't mean you can't build an agency that is primarily focused on Instagram content or TikTok. In fact, if there is a client out there that you want to work with and they don't have an Instagram or TikTok, it's probably something they're really missing out on and they will need it. Genuinely, I just prefer doing YouTube content because I actually enjoy it versus short form content. I don't really passionately enjoy it as much, so that's why I leaned more towards YouTube content. Now, building a killer offer that your clients will drool over consists of these 3 things. Number 1 is painting the vision. Number 2 is building the perceived value. And number 3 is building emotional investment. Hey, just quick heads up. If you want to be taught directly by myself and my entire team to start and scale your content agency, we literally hold your hand and work with you every single week and implement the same strategies I use to go to $0 to $20,000 a month and beyond. You can click the link down below in the description to apply for our one-on-one coaching. It is not free. It does cost money, but it is absolutely killer. So whether you want to start a brand new agency from scratch or you're already running one, click the link down below in the description to book a call with one of our coaches. When selling a service to somebody, you don't want to sell the logistics, you want to sell the vision. Now, what's the difference here? Logistics would be, I will come in and record the videos. I will edit the videos. I will do your titles and thumbnails. That's logistics. That's your job to do those things. The vision is what is going to come with a service like yours. Like, for example, building a brand and building a following of people that genuinely want to consume your products, building organic traffic funnels that can turn into leads and buy directly from you. Monetize your inventory or your product that you're sitting on for months, although you might see it every single day, can generate you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on YouTube because people are already searching for it. So logistically, yes, your job is to coordinate shootings and get the editing done and upload it and do the titles and thumbnails and whatnot, but that's not what you want to sell. Anybody can do that, including the staff of the business you're looking to pitch this to. You want to sell the vision. It's the look at what is possible with this. And with that being said, the better that you get at telling the vision story as to how things progress, it's the same way that people that go sign up for fitness coaching get sold the same perception dream as well too. You are fat right now and look at this guy I just trained. He is shredded. This can be you, but right now you look like this. Are you ready to look like that? It's a vision that you are seeing versus you're not sold on the idea that you need to work out 5 times a day. You need to eat less than 2,000 calories a day. You are sold on the vision. So you want to maintain that same mindset when you're trying to build your offer for clients you want to onboard. Now, number 2, building perceived value. This is just as important. Now, this is pretty exclusive for a lot of the team members inside of the Media Growth Academy, my one-on-one coaching program, but we always talk about building perceived value. And so the dollar figure your clients pay you every single month has to look like they are getting a screaming wicked deal. Now, how do we do this? Perceived value can be done in a lot of different ways. Number 1, you can introduce new small things into your business that either cost you little to nothing or nothing at all by utilizing AI, software, automations that just make your product a little bit better. For example, we just recently introduced a lead magnet that can be done directly on YouTube, meaning when people are on YouTube, they can click the link in the description and fill out their information and receive an incentive on a new product or a new piece of inventory directly from our clients. But the best part about this, the moment moment that form is submitted, our clients are immediately emailed that lead information so their sales team can call them and reach out. This is something that didn't cost us any additional money to do, but we're using that to sell to our clients, and it helps our perceived value go up. You always want to find little ways that you can make your offer better, and by adding more and more and more things to it, again, won't cost you a ton of money or no money at all additional every single month. It still helps your perceived value because it's something that you're adding into your offer that your clients weren't aware of. Now, last but not least is emotionally invest. I always tell people it's so much harder to fire a friend versus it is to fire a stranger. See, strangers can be fired like this. But imagine trying to fire your best friend. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable, it's just not something you necessarily want to do. And that's the same thing when you want to get people to emotionally invest in your product. When they see the vision and you've explained it in a way that they can see themselves becoming this great thing on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube and selling more of the stuff that they're already selling and building the thing that they're looking to build, they will become emotionally invested. 9 times out of 10, the people that are actually going to be in the videos, so like the host of the content, is probably somebody that works at the establishment you're looking to pitch. So for example, if you're building a content agency and you work with a car dealership, most likely one of the salespeople are going to be the ones that you're going to be actually recording. Now, to get somebody to emotionally invest and not get paid any additional money every single month, you need to get them to know the vision as well. So for example, a good salesperson will understand that putting themselves in front of the camera, capturing new people to see their face, will make them more money. Why? Because anytime people watch those YouTube videos, they want to talk to the person that's on camera. They become famous, and now all of a sudden they're getting all of the work themselves, all the additional leads, all the additional commissions. They're making more money. So whether the person that you're working with knows this or doesn't know it, it's always good to explain this so they can become emotionally invested in the product. It becomes less of a, oh, the media team's coming today, to more of a, oh, the media team's coming today. Now the fun part. This is where we're going to talk about money. My average client retainer right now is about $5,000 every single month, meaning for all the clients that we sign, our median is about $5,000 a month. Now, how do we achieve this? We're going to build an offer for you right here, right now, that aligns with your clients and also is going to make you a ton of money. And additionally, if you want more free resources, you can click the link down below in the description for a free training that I already posted and gain access to it right now because it's actually killer and I think you'll have some really good insight into it. All right, so we know there's tons of different social media platforms. I mean, there could be a short form content agency for Instagram, there could be a short form content agency for TikTok, there could be a content agency for Facebook, there could be a content agency for YouTube. I first want you to ask yourself, what type of responsibility can you bear? The way I like to look at it is short form content is a lot easier of a turnover versus long form content. And also producing short form content is perceived a lot easier than long form content is. Every single person and their mother has a phone, and realistically, you only need a phone to start doing short form content. So if you want to start a short form content agency, perfect, no problem at all, but you need to understand the perceived value of a short form content agency. You're probably going to have better targeting around the $1,500 to $3,000 a month in a short form content agency. Now, things you want to consider inside of your offers: how many videos are you posting? How many platforms are you covering? Are you managing the uploads? Is there any additional value props, like a lead magnet, for example, that you want to introduce? All of these things I just mentioned reflect the price. And let's just say all 4 of those things are in there. You want to cover Instagram and TikTok. You will have a lead magnet. You're going to post daily videos. So 30 videos on Instagram, 30 videos on TikTok, and you're going to upload it yourselves. You could definitely charge $3,000, $3,500 a month for a service like this because of how much the perceived value is in there and how much workload you're taking off of the client's plate. Now, quick disclaimer. When I say 30 videos a month and daily on Instagram and daily on TikTok, you're probably going, oh my God, how am I going to film all that? That's a ridiculous amount of content. How am I supposed to do that? Don't worry, I'll show you a little bit later, but I'll let you in on a little secret right now. You don't have to film 30 organic pieces of content for Instagram and 30 organic pieces for TikTok. You can film 30 for Instagram and just re-upload them to TikTok. It's still organic to the platform because it hasn't been posted on TikTok. They're just the same piece of content. It's the same reason that you see guys like Alex Hormozi post an Instagram reel and post the same thing on TikTok. You're just adding it to another platform. You don't actually have to make 60 organic pieces of content. You only have to make 30. Hey, and a little tip, this is the same way you can add additional perceived value by saying you want to cover all social media platforms. So for example, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Twitter, whatever the case is. If you're posting daily on all those platforms, you could tell your client you're posting 150 videos a month. But really, you're only recording 30 organic. It's another definition of perceived value. Now, when building your offer, it really doesn't come down to the end price goal, like $5K a month. It really comes down to your margin. You want to make sure you have a healthy margin. This isn't e-commerce where you're running at 20 or 30% margins. This is a content agency, and you can actually achieve an 80% margin in the very beginning. Ideally, once you start scaling and you hire sales reps and you hire more people to help you with things, your margin will drop a little bit because star players require star money, but it's going to allow your business to run on its own and and you still can retain 60% of all the profit. So for example, if you wanted to follow that same offer that we just gave an example of at $3,000 a month, you would want to consider the following things. All right, number one, if I needed to hire a videographer or somebody to come in with a phone to record this themselves and shoot 30 pieces of content, what would they charge? Now, based on my experience, a videographer like this would cost anywhere from $300 to $500 for an entire day of shooting. That still leaves you with $2,500 a month in profit. And now all of a sudden, you don't have to be the one recording it. All right, great. So that's one, and we still have $2,500 of profit. But what about the editing? Seeing as we're focusing on a short form agency, short form content is a lot cheaper to edit than a long form agency would be. So let's just say your rates are anywhere from $20 to $30 per short, which is actually kind of on the high end. If you hired an editor at $20 a short, it would cost you $600 a month in editing expenses, or $900 a month if it was $30 per video, leaving you with a grand total profit of $1,700 every single month, and you didn't have to do any of the work yourself. Now, granted, I'm leaning towards the more expensive side of what these things are going to cost. You can find editors for cheap, and you can also find camera people for cheap, especially if you go out there and build relationships. My best recommendations for finding these people are going to be online. For camera people, it's a really good place to look on LinkedIn because they already have a lot of references and work they've already done, and Instagram. I found a videographer that is currently fulfilling client work for me that is in an entirely different city that I'm in, and in fact, I've only been there once, and this videographer cost me $500 for the entire day's worth of shooting, yet the client pays me over $5,000 a month. In finding editors, there's two really good places to look. Number one, Fiverr, but usually with Fiverr, you get kind of lower tiered editors. Now, not all of them are lower tiered. There are diamonds in the rough on Fiverr, but you need to be looking for them. And you have to try your best to build relationships with these people on Fiverr outside of the Fiverr website. So if you can get them on Twitter, get them on Discord, get them outside of the platform, you can really start vetting if they're going to be somebody good to work with or not. Now, arguably, the best place to find editors would be Twitter or X. And you can find editors from all calibers, whether they're a newbie editor or a phenomenal A-class tier MrBeast editor. They're all on Twitter. So if you don't have a Twitter account, you're missing out on quite literally millions of opportunities. Go and make one right now. All right, so with this offer structure, we're maintaining just over 50% margins in our content agency. And again, I am leaning more to the expensive side for editing and recording costs. Realistically, you're probably going to be at a 70% profit margin after you've outsourced all the work to everybody else. But now the big question is, how are we going to find these high-paying clients that are going to pay you thousands of dollars every single month? And if you're just getting started in your content agency, you're kind of like, where do I actually look? This is really confusing. Now I'm going to share with you exactly how I was able to sign my first paying client and scaled from zero to $20,000 a month in 4 months using this tactic right here. And this is usually shared for just everybody inside of my coaching program, but I'm going to share it with you guys. And just a friendly reminder, if you want to be coached by myself and my entire team and literally handheld, me and you, okay, that was weird, work alongside you, starting your agency, or you already have one, you want to scale it, we will be there every step of the way to scale you to success inside of your content agency. Click the link down below. You do not want to miss this. It is fire. The absolute best way to get high paying and a signed client is to go and do free work. This is how I signed my very first client. I worked with a local car dealership for over 6 months. Now, hold up. You won't have to do this. See, when I started my content agency, there was nobody on YouTube talking about content agencies. I was unfamiliar that anybody else was doing it. In fact, I was confident I was the only person actually running a business like this because I couldn't find anybody else that was doing it. So first, the only reason I worked that long for free is because I needed to prove the concept actually worked. If I make YouTube videos, will this business make more money? And very quickly, we found out yes. Yes, they do. They were capturing more leads every month. They were getting more in-person sales. They started generating YouTube ad revenue. They were growing a brand they once never had. There was a lot of pros to us doing this. Now, with that free client, when I started getting results with them and I started actually getting real testimonials from these clients, I then took that data and I started pitching to other clients while still working for free for that one. Now, I actually ended up signing that client and I'm still with them to this day, almost 2 years later, but I'll get back to that in just a moment. After I had real proof that this business model actually worked for this business, I went and I took all that information I had and I started pitching it to other businesses. And I was actually scrolling on Instagram and I found a reel from another local car dealership. And all I did was DM the guy that was in the video. He wasn't an owner, he wasn't a manager, he was just a sales guy showing off a cool car. And I DM'd him a super simple, open-ended question that said, "Hey, do you guys have a YouTube channel?" ? Super simple, not salesy. He didn't know what my intention was. It was just a yes or no question. He responded with no, but that'd be really cool. And that's when I came in and I said, I build massive YouTube channels for car dealerships. I think you guys would kill it online. Is there any time this week I can meet with the owners and explain further? And despite this being one of my first ever cold DMs, it actually worked. And I ended up sitting down with the owners and we signed them for $55.97 every single month. My first official paying client. I didn't record any videos. I didn't come in with a camera. I didn't come in with any expertise because I'm not a videographer. I'm not an editor. I came in with an offer that they loved and I ended up signing them, and they're still with us to this very day. Now, after I had signed that first client, I was itching to see the first $10,000 month, which is when I went back to the free client and I pitched them a deal as well too. And obviously they were already killing it. That was an easy yes. They took it as well too. Less than 2 months into my business, I was now making over $12,000 a month, maintaining about a 70% profit margin in the first 2 months of my business. And I signed the other 2 clients by doing the exact same thing I just shared. I went to Instagram, I would slither my way in and try and find a salesperson or somebody who's shooting content at a dealer, and I asked them the same open-ended question. Set up a meeting, went and sat down, handshake, signed the agreement, and that's how I got the $20,000 a month. Now, I have all these signed paying clients, and now I need to fulfill the work, which is when I reached out to my videographers that I previously connected to and the editors I had previously already connected to, and I got them in motion. First, what I did is I made a Calendly website and I shared the username and password with our video team. The reason I did this is I asked the video team to go ahead and book out the days that they weren't available. So the only days and times that would show up is days that were actually already free to go ahead and book. Once that was done, I shared that same Calendly link with our clients and allowed them to choose a day and a time to book, and voila. You can also use an automation software called Zapier, which essentially connects with every software you use, and it can do automation tools. So right now, for example, when somebody books on Calendly, it'll automatically invite all of us in a Google Calendar, so our video team knows, the client knows, and also I know. And we also wanted to go a step further and let us know inside of our private Discord, so our entire team is known that a shoot was just booked. So the best and fastest way that you can sign a client would be this recommendation. Number one, I want you to build a list of your absolute favorite clients, somebody that you would actually really want to work with. There may not be a particular reason you want to work with them, but maybe they have a cool vibe, maybe they have cool cars, maybe you like the location they're at. Whatever it is, I want you to pick your quote unquote dream clients, people that you would love to actually work with, and offer them free work. The reason I say free work is you want them to become a star player. You give them so much value that they start cheering for you. So when you go pitching your services to other clients, if that client calls the person you're doing free work for, they are going to be ecstatic about you, only but good things to say about you. It's going to be so much easier because they're a natural born cheerleader for you because what you're doing for them. And once they have results, which by the way won't take 6 months, it could take as early as 1 month or even 2 months, you can then round back to them and sign them as a paying client. Because here's the thing, it's just like giving candy to a kid. Once you give candy to a kid, you can't take it away or else they're going to throw a fit. And it's kind of the same thing with these clients. Now, hiring the right talent to do all the work for you is something that's actually not all that different. My biggest recommendation for hiring people like videographers and editors is make really good relationships with your videographers. You want to make sure they understand the way that you're trying to do things, whether it's a YouTube video or it's an Instagram short. You want to explain your vision you have for the client. My best piece of practice is the first couple shoots that you're working with these videographers, you want to go to these shoots, help direct them, help coach them, help show them the way that you're trying to formulate thing. And once they get the system down, they're good. In fact, I rarely go to any of my client shoots anymore because our camera team is so good that they control everything with ease. Same thing goes with the editors. It's best to reach out to 2 to 3 different editors and really catch the vibe and explain what it is that you're looking to build. Most editors are jumping for joy on the idea, but it really comes down to how they actually move when the videos come in. My best recommendation is reach out to 2 to 3 different editors, and when a project comes in from one of your clients, send all 3 of them to them for a trial video. This way you can see how long it takes them to get it back to you and how good the quality is and is there any issues or imperfections, and really figure out who's the star player. And once you have that figured out, you can just work with that editor the entire time. Now, once you get to around 3 to 4 clients is where you're really starting to make money. This is when I broke my first $20,000 a month. And this is where the business became a real business, because now we're making money, we're making revenue, we have expenses, but I wanted to grow. I wanted to get this business to $100,000 a month and get it to 7 figures in a year. And that's exactly what we're doing this year. One of the best investments that I've had to make, but has returned the best ROI, is a salesperson or a brand ambassador. Now, one of my personal friends is actually working on our sales team, and she's the only person who does our sales, and she's phenomenal at it. She does all the outreach to new clients, she does all the meetings with new clients, she signs all the new clients, and she does all the logistics for clients. In fact, she just texted me right now saying that she just quoted a new client $4,995 a month, and now she's pushing with a meeting with them to talk to their marketing team. Once you get to that $15,000 to $20,000 a month, hiring a salesperson is going to change your life, because you don't have to do any of the outreach anymore. You can have somebody who's way better at sales than you are, most likely, to go and do all of it for you. Now, the way that you can structure these deals are one of 2 ways. Either A, what you can do is go ahead and pay them just a flat salary each and every single month, whatever that number is, you can come to terms with. Or B, you can pay them a lower salary and a super high commission. So every single time they close a deal, you can give them like 75% of the first month close. So if they close a $5,000 deal, they're making well over $3,000 on that deal closed, which makes it all worth their time. Outside of an editor and a videographer and a salesperson, the only other thing you'll really need is going to be two super simple things. Number one, somebody that is going to upload the content for you and make sure that the titles are structured well, the tags are done, SEO is done, the links are there. Just make sure everything's good, because when you have lots of videos coming in, it's a lot of uploads to handle. And unless you want to do it yourself, there's no problem with that. But it's always nice to have every gear turning without you having to do anything. The final thing you'd want to hire is what I like to call an appointment setter, or AKA a client booker. Now, I currently handle all my client bookings because I have a really good relationship with all of my clients. And thankfully, it's not a hassle to book with them. It's super simple. But the final piece of the puzzle that I'm going to be removing myself from this project is hiring somebody to coordinate the bookings. Essentially, all they do is text, email, or call our clients with our Calendly link and ask them to book. And they'll follow up and follow up and follow up until they get that booking. And thankfully, somebody like an appointment setter isn't going to be expensive every month because they can do all of it from their phone. Like honestly, maybe $300, $500 a month to book all your clients. And that's assuming you have 5, 6, 7, 10 different clients. It is such a nice thing to have yourself completely disconnected from the process and focusing on growing the business, not working in the business. So for $300 to $500 a month, I think it's the perfect investment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I just gave you the full textbook breakdown as to how you can start and scale your content agency. And so you can literally go out there and start it for yourself today. This is the best business you can build in 2025. I can assure you, social media is not going anywhere. There's a lot of these fads and trends like drop shipping and e-commerce and all this stuff that come up each and every year. But the thing is, social media over the last couple of years has only been getting closer and closer and closer to our face. Arguably, I'm making a bet that social media isn't going anywhere. Trends in e-commerce change, fads and way that people drop ship change and all this stuff, but don't forget this. It takes the same amount of time to learn a skill set like a content agency as it does all the other ones. The only difference with a content agency is it's guaranteed to not be going anywhere. And right now, with it being such an unsaturated niche, there's so much opportunity for you to get out there and absolutely kill it.